Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Nrgy. I am here to give you part one of maybe a 2 or 3 part video series in order to make sure that the videos are not too long. Because what I am sharing with you are the common complaints when it comes to co-parenting. So obviously this is going to be a video or a series of videos where this is a situation and I'm talking to those people who have both parents or the other parent is still in the picture and not those who are totally abandoned by the other parent. So make sure that you stay tuned. We are going to cover it. We're going to cover maybe 2 or 3 of the common complaints and things to think about whenever you are dating and what you may want to think about before having sex. Stay tuned. Hey there. So, as I said earlier, these are some things to think about whenever you are dating someone and even before you have sex. Too many people start thinking about these questions, or they start really thinking about the scenarios and the situation that they are in or could potentially be in. They start thinking about it way too late, after everything is already done, after it's too late to do anything about it. And so mostly what we're going to talk about today is revolving around visitation and custody issues, or just visitation and custody scenarios and situations. These are topics that I hear constantly whenever I'm coaching my clients, whether it be my single dads or whether it be my single moms. It doesn't matter because it goes both ways across the board. So the first one that we're going to talk about when it comes to things that you want to make sure that you think about before you have sex with that person that you're dating, the person that you're in a relationship with. The first one is, think about if this person is someone that you, from what you've gotten to know about them during your dating phase and those first few stages, is this person someone whom you can be comfortable with sharing or splitting your time if it comes down to it? Now, these are things to think about. The character of the person that you're getting to know, and the character of the person that you're dating, and the character of the person whom you are already sleeping with or will potentially sleep with. And of course, even someone, that you may consider marrying. So, but anyway, think about if this person, their character, their morals, their values, their principles, just the way that they, their mindset, are they a person that you would be comfortable enough with sharing and splitting up your time with your child? Basically, are you comfortable with your child spending time with that person away from you? Because some of the constant complaints that I get from parents in this type of situation or scenario is, they're afraid of having to let their son or daughter or their child go spend time with that other parent, at that other parent's house, at the other parent's location, with them not being able to be there, with them not being able to be present. And it's like, did you not think about that question? Did you not think about, not necessarily the question, because I do understand it's a little difficult for me. Well, it's not difficult, but I just want to be careful of how I explain this. And I'm not saying that when you are going into a relationship, or especially not when you're going into a marriage, you don't want to think about, you don't want to necessarily plan for a breakup or plan for a divorce. So let me just preface all of this by saying that it's not about planning for a breakup or planning for a divorce, but what you want to do is just still run that what if across your mind and think about, okay, based off of during this stage of me getting to know this person and dating this person, with what I've learned about them so far and how they're treating me, how they treat others, how they treat their family, their relationship with their family, is this someone whom I would be comfortable enough and I would feel that my child is in safe hands without me being around if we didn't make it? If we didn't make it, would I be okay with my child spending alone time with this particular person? Because that is an actual fear. It's a fear of a lot of parents, a lot of those parents who know that the person that they are with or no longer with, I mean, it could it could currently even be an ex at this point. Let's just say if, it's all said and done, can't do anything about it at this point, a child is already in the picture and you guys have already broken up. You can't do anything about it. And so people then, after the fact, they then think about or start having that concern of, wow, reality has just set in. And this person, my ex, is someone that I'm not sure if they are going to parent my child, or our child properly, or with the same care and concern and attention, paying attention to our child that our child deserves and or needs. So it's a common fear, and it causes a lot of anxiety whenever you're having to literally, say goodbye to your child for those few days or those few weeks, depending on, what your custody or visitation arrangements are. So, but if you think about it ahead of time, if you actually start, if you take those things into consideration well ahead of time and actually go through the thought process of thinking, the person that I'm dating right now, if we were to have a child together, is this someone that I would be comfortable with my child spending alone time with if we didn't make it? Just a what if, just a hypothetical, right? So that's one of the common complaints. But I'm going to stay on that same subject as far for my second one, my second point that I'm going to bring up. I'm going to stay on the same subject as far as like sharing or having to split time with your child, with the other parent. And what I'm going to talk about in this point is you have to think about in advance the emotional effect of splitting your time and sharing your time with your guys' child or children with the other parent, and you not being there, and how does that affect you emotionally as the parent, and how does that affect the child or the children emotionally as children? Because you also have to think about when you're splitting and having to share that time in two separate households with your ex, you're missing out on parts of your child's life, and your child is missing out on time with you. And so that's another big thing. Like if we think about these things in advance before actually getting in bed with the person, before rushing into a relationship, or even if it's not rushing, if we just actually ask those questions or just be patient to really, or pay attention to those red flags that a person actually shows, and listening to that gut instinct, that first thought that I've talked about before, and another one of my videos, another one of my episodes. If we actually just take the time to get to know that person on a deeper level than just the surface, than just how they make me feel right now, how they may make me smile, they may make me laugh, and they may be fun to hang around with, but when things are going good, right? What is that person like whenever things aren't going their way? What will that person, how does that person treat you? What's that other side of, the person that you're dating? What's the other side of them whenever things don't go their way, or whenever they're not, when they are not in love with you anymore? And so when you are having to share and split your child's time with your ex, that does take a huge emotional effect or toll on the child. And then not only the child, even some of you, even us as parents, it will take an emotional toll on a lot of us parents as well. And so you have to think about that, like, okay, is this person someone whom I can see myself spending the rest of my life with, or if not the rest of my life with, at least the first 18 years of our child's life together. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to segue into something else that I want to bring up. Not really one of my points, but I want to explain or tie it in so you'll understand where I was, what I was setting up. So what I'm talking about is the fact that also think about if this might be another video actually, but anyway, think about if the person whom you're dating, whom you are actually in a relationship with, and that you are going to possibly have sex with, or if you are already having sex with that person and you guys have not had a child yet, or you haven't, you're not pregnant yet, think about, is this person someone whom I would be willing to still sacrifice what could be your own happiness, your own preferred way of doing things? Let's just say, instead of breaking up, how do I say this? So basically, is this person someone who you would be willing to continue to live under one roof for the sake of your child for those first 18 years of your child's life, until your child is old enough to then move out of the house, until your child is no longer a minor? Is this person someone that you can deal with, or whom you can deal with and continue to be around and continue to parent with under one roof if your relationship starts to go south? If you guys are even considering, wanting to break up, but for the sake of your child, because we should always put our children first, period, above our feelings, above what we may want, above our discomfort, or whatever the case is, unless it's a life or death situation, of course, we should always put our child first. So is this person someone whom you can stay under that same roof, continue to live together in order to make sure that your child has both parents under one roof and has access to both parents 24/7? That's a question to marinate on. That's a question that, if a lot of us ask ourselves that question on the front end, it could possibly help prevent a lot of the single parenting situations that are present, a lot of the single parent situations that are happening. So again, to try to simplify the question, the person whom you're dating and considering having sex with, or are currently having sex with, if you have a child with that person, are they someone whom you can see yourself making a sacrifice if your relationship goes south, even if they cheat on you, if they don't come home, if they don't speak your love language, if they aren't giving you what you need? Is that person someone whom you can still manage living under one roof for the sake of your child for at least the first 18 years of your child's life? I'm sure if a lot of us ask ourselves that question on the front end and really just think about what comes with all of that, with the decision of staying under one roof with someone who you may not even be in love with anymore, if they're disrespectful, if it's always constant arguing and bickering, if they're not carrying their weight financially. Tough question, right? A great question, again, to marinate on. So I think I'm going to leave that question right there for this particular video, because I do want to expound on that whole idea, that whole notion in another video, because I can really break that down. So going backwards a little bit, consider when you have to, or if you have to split time with your child, consider the emotional effects that it will have on that child when they're having to go back and forth between two homes. and now between mom and stepdad, or dad and stepmom. And then for you as the parent, that's going to have an emotional toll on you as well. At some point, it's going to have, if you are an actual involved parent, it will have an emotional toll on you too. Because what parent wants to be separated from their child? So that's point number 1, or is that point number 2? I've already lost count. This is not good. So anyway, the next one. So, okay, even worse. So you're splitting your time with your child. They have, your ex has their visitation schedule. You have your visitation schedule, however it is. But then when your child is with the other parent, and you find out that your child is not even spending time with the other parent. Your child is spending time with the grandmother, the grandfather, the auntie, the uncle, the cousins, the neighbors, the best friends. That sucks. But guess what? You can't do anything about it. And so that's another thing that people don't think about in advance. Like, what if the person, my ex, is not one, is the type of person to drop our child off during their scheduled visitation, their scheduled time of spending with our child, but they drop our child off with other parents. With the other family members, and they're not even being involved during their designated time. So again, that is affecting the child even more. And then if you find out about it, or when you find out about it, you're going to get pissed off. It's going to make you feel some type of way. Because it's going to make you feel, because I hear this all the time, and I've had this thought as well. Like, well, what's the point of this, of you wanting to have time with our child if you're not even spending the time with our child? But it's something, it is a reality. It's a situation that parents go through every single day. Every single drop-off situation, parents go through this. Parents have to deal with the fact that that their ex isn't spending the time with their child during their visitation. So that's another hard pill to swallow. So it makes you, again, want to think about, before I sleep with this person, before I have sex with this person, as I'm dating this person, is this person's thought process, the way that they handle life, the way that they look, their outlook on life, their mindset, their character, their principles, their integrity, are all of these traits that this person is made of? Is it someone that I would be comfortable with knowing that my child is in good hands if we did not make it, if we had to separate, if we were no longer able to be under the same roof with each other? So I have one more for this particular part 1 for this particular video. And that one is, so the pickup drop off. Oh, there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on with the pickup times and the drop off times. So what if one of the partners, what if your ex, or if it's you, what if someone does not pick up or drop off the child on time? That can, I hear it all. I hear it all, and I see the effects of it all, and it causes a lot of anger and conflict once that child finally comes, or once that parent finally brings the child to the designated location and finally either picks up or drops off that child at that particular time late. It causes a lot of conflict. It makes some people decide to pick up the phone and call the law because, they're going against what the custody arrangements are. It goes against that. It goes against just the agreement itself. And so the law ends up getting involved, and then of course it's increasing and drawing up a lot of emotions. And so when those two parents finally come face to face with each other, usually that conversation is one that is not pretty, is usually not calm. And it, because one of those parents, of course, the one that's on the waiting side, the receiving side of this at this point, they feel disrespected, especially if their time, if their schedule has been arranged around the pickup or drop off time, and if that schedule is their work schedule. And now that parent is late because scenario A, their ex has not come to pick up their child on time, and that parent, the current parent, is waiting to be able to go to work. And so that's going to affect that parent's schedule. Their work schedule is going to now cause them to be late, is going to cause them to have to call in and just say that they're going to be late, or depending on how long it's taking the other parent to actually come pick up the child, they may end up having to miss a shift. And so that then, it's a trickle down effect. Now it has affected that person's work schedule. It has now affected, that person's work situation. We don't know if their boss is understanding. We don't know if their boss is going to be flexible with them. We don't know if that person, or if this particular parent's work schedule or their employer is flexible when it comes to, hey, I need a little bit more time, I'm going to be about an hour late, or, whatever the case is. If that person works a high demand job where they have to be there because otherwise, everyone else, or there are other things that are waiting to be done for that person to be taken care of, for that person to come in. Yeah, so it does trickle down, and it does affect the other parent. And for some of those parents who are late with picking up the child, or who are late with dropping off the child, I don't know if they often consider or take into consideration the other parent and their schedule and how it's going to be affected, especially if they're not communicating, especially if they do not communicate in advance of saying, hey, we're running late, we'll be there in 30 minutes, or hey, it's going to be about 2 more hours, whatever the case is. Communication can go a long way, but for some people it's still, it at the end of the day, they're like, no, it's 5 o'clock every Sunday. 5 o'clock every Sunday, same place. Why couldn't you have worked it out with whatever it is that you have going on, wherever you were going to take our child, whatever you had planned for the day? Why couldn't you have worked it out to where you could be here at 5 o'clock on Sunday, like normal, like any other Sunday? It should not be any different. It shouldn't be a surprise to you or anything like that. So there are a lot of pickup, drop off locations and things that happens during pickup time and during drop off time. And then you have some who will go even further and just blatantly say, oh, well, I'm not dropping our child off today, I'll drop him off tomorrow. And it's like, whoa. Like, how rude and disrespectful is that of that parent to just take it upon themselves, which goes against the agreement of you're just taking, you're just going to keep our child an extra day, which usually it's, of course, this is not across the board, but for a lot of clients that I work with, the standard is the pickup drop off. The child is usually being brought back on Sunday in order to be ready for school, daycare, whatever, on Monday with their full custody parent, the parent who has the main or full custodial rights. And so I have heard or worked with clients who they literally say, well, my child is missing days from school, or are late because my ex just feels that they can keep our child another day just because that's what they choose to do. And so it oh, holidays. Ooh. What about holidays? So let's just say if the relationship between the exes, you and your ex are, the relationship is not amicable, right? And y'all just don't, you just don't work well together. Like, you don't give and take. It's like you both are just constantly, well, I want what I want, forget what you want, or whatever. So what about when it comes to holidays? If one parent has, let's just say if the timing of one child's visitation is during a holiday, but this particular holiday has been granted to the other parent, this parent here will oftentimes have the audacity to say, well, this is during my week, or this is during my weekend, and I'm not bringing my child back to you, although, yeah, this is your designated holiday, although these papers say, okay, this year, this holiday is yours, even though it falls on my visitation weekend or my visitation week. And so one parent is like, yo, it just causes so much mess. At the end of the day, it is just a very messed up situation, a very unfortunate situation that a lot of times can be avoided. Everything that I've talked about today in part 1 of this video can be avoided if people will just think a little bit deeper, think a little bit wider about that person whom you're dating and thinking of having sex with or are having sex with. And if you guys have a child together, or even if you're married and you haven't had a child yet, but if you guys are having sex and you're not being careful, you're not using protection and things like that, and if a child comes, before all of that happens, think about, like, is this someone whom I can see myself having a amicable co-parenting relationship with if things went that way? Because that's a situation where the pressure is put on. And when pressure is put on, that's when you find out and you're able to see that other side of a person that you may or may not have seen up to that point. And so that's why you want to try to think of a scenario, think of a what if. You're not trying to live your entire life or your entire relationship as, well, what if this happens or what if that happens? No, but this allowed you to make wise decisions when it comes to the people you're involving yourself with, especially where a child, if you guys are sexually active, and where a child could possibly be brought into the picture at any moment. And so, doing your part of not becoming a single parent. Of course, things happen. There are some people, that person, you could be all in, but that person just may decide, like, I just don't want to be here. I don't want to be with you, whatever. And if they decide to leave, there's nothing you can do about it. What I'm saying is, doing your part in learning more about a person and just really thinking about, based off of what they have shown me in these multiple scenarios of the time that we've spent together, of the conversations that we've had, of when I've been with this person and we've been out in public and I'm able to see how they move. I'm able to see how they treat other people. I'm able to see how they treat the waiter, the waitresses. I'm able to see how they treat the cashier. I'm able to see their relationship with their family. I'm able, and listening to like how they talk about their own exes, that's a big one there. How is a person, how do they, to you, when you guys are having a conversation, how does that conversation go when they're talking about their ex? Are they still speaking from an emotional place? Are they still hurt? Are they still holding on to a lot of the pain and the regret from that relationship? Do they still have resentment? Or are they able to still just speak politely about that person, no matter how bad that person may have been to them? But that will just let you know about a person's character, ultimately, is what I'm saying. So learn a person's character, learn what they value, ask the questions about, well, if we were to have a child and things didn't work out between us, would you be able to still live under the same roof as would you still be willing to live under the same roof together with me for the next 18 years in order to just make sure that our house, one roof house, is maintained for the sake of our child? Taking us out of the picture as far as what we may want. Yeah, life is short. You got to be happy. Or, oh, this person, I'm not happy with this person anymore. Or, life is too short to be taking all of that out of the picture. Like, would you be willing? Ask that question to yourself and to the person whom you're dating. If we were to have a child together, would you be willing to continue to maintain a relationship, a cordial enough relationship, and continue to stay under one roof with each other for sake of our child? In order to make sure that our child has both parents 24/7 under the same roof. And after they move out, after the child moves out, after the child is no longer a minor, and once they reach 18, then you guys can decide if you choose to go your separate ways or not. Think about that question. Ask yourself that question. Ask your partner, the person whom you're dating, the person who, if you're not dating right now, the person who you are going to be in your next relationship with. Ask that person that question. Just bring it up in conversation and see where their mind is. See where your mind is. You may be the one who is not ready to say yes to that question. You may not be at a place yet emotionally or just mentally with making that type of decision and actually living day-to-day life with someone who you're not feeling, you're not vibing, you have a child together, but y'all aren't really rocking with each other. Can you do it? If not, if the answer is no, if the answer is any type of hesitation, then reconsider having sex, reconsider having children, reconsider. Just think about it to help yourself not have a child that's going to be split apart and then having that child go through emotional turmoil and have to deal with co-parenting situations where mom and dad, it's just terrible and they're not getting along. So you already know what to do. Go ahead and leave your comments below. Answer the question below. Can you do that or can you not do that? Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Thank you so much for following. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Let me know how you like this particular video. Again, this is part 1 of either 2 or 3 parts that's talking about visitation and custody type of issues, the common complaints that I get as a coach when I'm working with my single dads and my single moms, and just stuff for you all to think about, stuff for you all to maybe just help, share. Pass on the information, help the next person not become a single parent themselves. So tune into the I Give Life to Life podcast with Coach Nrgy. You can find that podcast on Apple, iTunes, as well as Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Again, that's I Give Life to Life with Coach Nrgy. Contact me on my website if you are looking for someone to mentor you, or you're looking for a coach to help you get through the single parenting phases that you're going through. You can go to my website, CoachNrgy.com. That is Coach nrgy.com, and let me know. Go ahead and scroll to the bottom of that website page and click the button that says schedule appointment. Go ahead and get on my appointment, and that first appointment will just be an initial meet and greet, and we'll go ahead and get that first consultation. That's free, by the way. Go ahead and get that consultation out of the way, and let's just kind of tell me about what's going on, and then we'll together we will decide what type of coaching and yeah, just what is that you need, and then we'll come together with an idea. So yeah, thanks for checking out this video. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube channel. I appreciate everything that you guys have done thus far. Do not forget to answer that question below, because I am curious to see, have you ever thought about it? If not, what do you think about that question? What do you think about that question that I asked for you all to marinate on? Signing out. You already know. Do not forget to keep smiling. Talk soon. Bye-bye.